I'm Steve Wohlenhaus. This is Anatomy of Success. This week, 7 ways to be a leader that prevents creating a culture of conformity. Let's get started. I'm Steve Wohlenhaus. Again, this is Anatomy of Success. Each week we talk about my 4 tenets of equanimity: better health, healthy relationships, healthy intimate relationships, and more satisfying work. Of course, that's our topic today for people aspiring to be leaders or current leaders, or people that are working in a corporate environment where you can tell things are just not functioning at the level you wish. And that can be a big problem. And the reason, incidentally, most people leave their job because they're unhappy with their present leadership. So these things we talk about, let's say today, for instance, that pertains to leadership, it involves you too, even if you're not an aspiring leader or entrepreneur. But if you are, I got to tell you, AOS.Academy has some great resources for people trying to build a business, wanting to improve their leadership skills, wanting to improve their mindset, their health, their commitment to building a better future. Join us there if you would. Subscribe to our podcast here as well. And then at weatherology.com or AOS.Academy, you can find and connect with me on social media. Influenced by the Nazi Party's ascent to power during World War II, Solomon Asch began conducting experiments to determine how social influence impacts conformity. Asch's famous experiments explored normative social influence, which occurs when we publicly conform to gain acceptance and avoid rejection. The study had participants in a group determined if a single vertical line matched one of 3 other vertical lines that were offered as possible answers. Participants unanimously agreed to the wrong answer when a person planted in the group gave the initial wrong answer. This phenomenon leads people to pretend they agree with a group because they fear retribution or the perception of not fitting in. Ironically, when no one was planted in the group, people chose the right answer 98% of the time. Leaders have a powerful impact on group dynamics, folks. And history reveals the danger of blindly following those in power because they offer direction that is inconsistent with our values. Many people in leadership positions are peddling ideas, theories, policies that fly in the face of genuine human benefit, kindness, fairness, compassion. When leaders make rules that alienate anyone predicated on their external attributes, we got to beware. Great leaders create a safe space for everyone and demand respect, trust, open communication. When the conversation moves in the direction of indoctrination, boy, based on absolute truth they've dreamed up in academia, that's a dangerous proposition. So how can leaders avoid falling into the trap of popular trends and dangerous, destructive ideas? Here are 7 ways to avoid creating a culture powered by conformity. Conformity. Let's start there. When people in leadership positions intentionally set off to regulate behavior based on their own personal biases, political prejudice, or desire to appear virtuous, gotta watch out. When leaders enact policy decisions without deep conversations and unadulterated feedback, they establish mandates that drive division and create conformity. It may work temporarily. Long-term, though, the organization suffers. Conformity doesn't win hearts, it creates conformists. And we saw that so much over the past 4 years. Social roles, social rules are nothing more than expectations about how team members are supposed to behave. When those rules encourage trust, kindness, compassion, acceptance, tolerance, honesty, the team wins. When those rules are driven by political predilections, theories, or ideology, the team loses. Be careful with the social rules that you embrace. They can make or break your organization. Social influence. Social influence occurs when cottage industries arise that indoctrinate ideas designated to create policy decisions engineered toward creating conformity. Make no mistake, ideas that don't originate from the heart, based on love, compassion, acceptance, kindness, tolerance, they have no place in our company. Dabble with the devil if you like, but there's always a heavy price to pay. Glad to see so many companies departing from these horrible ideas. Implicit. Implicit rules are unspoken rules that permeate the organization. Many big tech companies operate that way. Most people embrace certain beliefs that are widely embraced. They celebrate being open-minded and socially savvy, but have clear disdain for any ideas or opinions that contradict their own. When people believe they know the absolute truth and refuse to accept alternative viewpoints, business slowly starts to decay. When organizations start mandating explicit expectations that demand obedience and compliance, we have to beware. If these expectations are based on common values that benefit everybody, it's admirable. When those explicit expectations drift in the direction of assumptions, prejudice, bias, theories, ideological expectations, the organization moves toward autocracy. Comply. Compliance isn't bad when rules and expectations are spelled out and those expectations coincide with values that benefit everybody, like respect, trust, safety, integrity. Then the organization flourishes. When compliance is based on punishment or fear of reciprocity, the organization creates an atmosphere of suspicion and paranoia. We have to be careful about what we demand when those demands are based on ideology. Our policies aren't motivated by the heart, they are motivated by an agenda. It's very simple. Obedient. When our corporate culture assumes the identity of the people in charge that are promoting their personal agendas, we establish an atmosphere of fear and distrust. Concentrating on social ideas instead of profit, performance, personal, professional growth, mentoring, coaching, innovation, agility, then it's a mistake. Just because we believe we have the right answer regarding social change doesn't mean it's accurate. When we force our opinion on people, we create obedience, which is the opposite of love, trust, kindness, and compassion. In the process, you create enemies or advocates, one of the two. So again, we touched on some touchy subjects today because let's be honest, over the past 4 years, we've seen a great deal of organizations mold around these crazy ideas engineered toward creating some form of equality. I got news for you. Great leaders have a big heart and they genuinely care about people. They understand love, compassion, empathy, understanding. They don't have any preconceived ideas about people based on their external attributes. They're not measuring people that walk in the door. You're the right gender, you're the right color. They see everybody as a person with human potential. Those are the kind of companies we want to work for. Not some business where they're spelling out how we're supposed to behave based on some academic dream manifested by a college professor that's never done anything except sit around with far too much free time fantasizing about how to make the world a better place or how to solve complicated social issues. Yeah, being tough on this because I've seen a lot of people stuck in these miserable jobs just keeping their mouth shut as they listen to this stuff that they know is just not right, but being forced to because their life depends on it. So we're trying to help leaders at AOS.Academy be different than this. How to build businesses where you can hire the right people, build a company that's likely to succeed based on good decisions about who you surround yourself with. Sound like a good idea? We hope you join us. I'm Steve Wohlenhaus. This is Anatomy of Success. Until next week, let's stay focused, let's stay positive, and let's stay optimistic.